According to a study published today in the journal Pediatrics, mothers who report having symptoms of depression in the first year after giving birth are more likely to have shorter children. Researchers found that kids around age 4 were more than 40% likely to have shorter height if their mothers had mild or moderate depression during their infancy. One theory on the reason behind the shorter stature is that the children may also be depressed, which can disrupt the flow of growth hormone. Nearly 1 in 5 women have postpartum depression in the U.S., and it may also be related to a slower learning of language and behavioral problems. Doctors recommend that women seeing signs of depression should seek help immediately. Ibing-he, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco.
Times ago, the Ministry of Commerce of the People's Republic of China successfully sponsored the 10th China Brand Show at the North Hall of Las Vegas Convention Center in Las Vegas. It is one of the largest shows of China's brand goods ever held in the U.S., with the participation of 241 famous Chinese companies. The attaché Xiang Xia and the deputy consul Ru Tongsong attended the show. Song expressed, "The show helps optimize the commodities mix in Sino-U.S. trade and facilitate the healthy development of bilateral trade and commercial ties." Ibing-he, Sierra Guo, ICN, San Francisco.
A 40-year-old Fremont woman was brutally beaten in her home on Sunday morning. According to police, 4 men restrained the woman with duct tape and severely beat her before fleeing with a small amount of jewelry. The woman was left with 2 black eyes, severe facial lacerations, and a mouthful of broken teeth. Police say the fact that the men only took jewelry while leaving a lot of valuables in plain sight was a little suspicious. Ibing-he, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco.
President Hu Jintao urged Japan to be fully aware of the seriousness of the Diaoyu Island situation and not make wrong decisions on Sunday. He also said, Beijing will not recognize the purchase of the island by the Japanese under any circumstances. An official meeting between the leaders of the two nations was originally planned for the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum in Russia, but was cancelled due to the escalating tension. If Japan goes through with its plan to try and nationalize the island, China will take diplomatic measures to safeguard the territory. Ibing-he, Sierra Guo, ICN, San Francisco. Carmen de Rafas hasn't retired her heels at the age of 81. Instead, she worked the Noreso Ferrari Spring and Summer 2013 show during New York Fashion Week on Monday. Modeling is an industry prizes youth. However, de Rafas is the proof of the nation's general acceptance of a graying population. She started her career at the age of 13 and has been in this business for over 60 years. She says of modeling, "It keeps me in touch with young people and their perspective of not just beauty and fashion, but life in general, and their experience, how they look at the world." Ibing-he, Sierra Guo, ICN, San Francisco.
A man in a gray lifted Ford F-250 pickup truck smashed into 8 parked cars on Sunday in San Jose. San Jose police were called at around 8:30 Sunday night on a report of a hit-and-run involving several vehicles and arrived to find the truck abandoned. The still unidentified driver of the truck left on foot after his tires were blown out in the crash. Residents witnessed the truck smashing into the parked cars and at one point pushing a Toyota Corolla onto its owner's front lawn. Beer bottles and cans were seen falling out of the truck during the incident. No one was injured during the collisions, and police say that the most the driver will get charged for is a misdemeanor. Ibing-he, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco.
China Disabled Persons Federation announced the government of China vote to increase financial support for disabled care service. Services are designed to provide rehabilitations, medical treatments, educations, trainings, and employments for both mentally and physically handicapped adults. According to a survey, there are more than 85 million disabled people in China, and their living conditions could involve about 260 million people if their family members are taken into account. The care services will be effective measures for helping disabled people ease their ability limitations. Yi Binghe, Sierra Guo, ICN San Francisco. President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama led America in a silent tribute to the victims of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks, and said, "So as painful as this day is and always will be, it leaves us with the lesson that no single event can ever destroy who we are. No act of terrorism can ever change what we stand for." In New York, families wandered around the site with pictures look at the names of the one they love and have lost. Throughout the city, firefighters in their station houses and cops in their precinct stood at attention to mark the moment that traumatized the city and the nation 11 years ago. Yi Binghe, Sierra Guo, ICN San Francisco. Public health officials announced that Yosemite National Park has begun trapping and killing deer mice since the growing number may have helped create the conditions that led to a hantavirus outbreak that has infected 8 park visitors, killing 3. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention has already sounded a worldwide alert, saying visitors at Curry Village between June and August may be at risk. Daniel Butke, a veterinary epidemiologist, said deer mice release hantavirus in their urine and droppings. People can contract the virus when they breathe contaminated air. Mice were being trapped in several areas of the park for monitoring purposes, but believed they were being killed only in Curry Village area. Yi Binghe, Sierra Guo, ICN San Francisco.
A survey from the Ad Council that was just released shows that only 44% of American kids brush their teeth 2 or more times a day, leaving them at risk for costly dental problems and chronic disease. Tooth decay can lead to issues with pain and chewing problems, and bacteria from gum disease can enter the bloodstream, sometimes causing infections in other parts of the body. In rare cases, untreated cavities can be fatal. The simplest way to prevent oral disease is by making sure kids brush their teeth twice a day. In addition to brushing, flossing daily is also important to get the areas that the toothbrush can't reach. Yi Binghe, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco.
Starting Tuesday, the top meteorological center began providing weather forecasts for the Diaoyu Island and their surrounding waters, transmitting the information via the national broadcaster, radio, and internet media. China Meteorological Administration said in a statement that the Diaoyu Island has been China's inherent territory since ancient times. This move came after the Chinese government announced the base points and baseline of the territory waters of Diaoyu Island on Monday. And Premier Wen Jiabao said on Monday that China will absolutely make no concessions on issues concerning its sovereignty and territorial integrity. Yi Binghe, Sierra Guo, ICN San Francisco.
The Bay Area Rapid Transit System celebrated its 40-year anniversary on Tuesday. The BART train's first line ran between Oakland and Fremont. 2 more lines of service were added in 1973, including a tunnel under the bay which allowed trains to travel between Oakland and San Francisco. A second tunnel to Daly City was added the following year. In the 40 years since it opened, BART has expanded, with lines to places like Pleasanton and the San Francisco International Airport. Extensions to Warm Springs and Fremont and East San Jose are under construction, and a Livermore extension is being discussed. On September 19th, BART plans to announce a public event to give back to the community. Yi Binghe, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco. Apple held an event yesterday to unveil its new iPhone 5 smartphone and new versions of the iPod Touch and iPod Nano. The highly anticipated iPhone 5 impressed the crowds with a larger, more vibrant screen, a faster processor to speed up phone use, and a 4G LTE antenna to get the best service available. Its thinner design and lighter weight help it stand out against the competition. The new iPods have also been given a design update, with the Touch coming in a variety of colors and the Nano getting a bigger screen. The iPhone 5 will be released on October 12th at the same price as the iPhone 4S, $199. Yi Binghe, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco.
According to the latest data, China has developed nearly 300,000 students turned into village officials. At a working conference, the organization department of the Communist Party of China Central Committee announced that 5,000 of them have been village heads. These student-turned officials are supposed to offer information, technology, policy education, and law services to farmers in order to serve as the backbones in building a socialist new countryside. Tougher tasks will be assigned to these young people. They will make greater efforts to meet their goal to improve the employment, on-job education, and promotion opportunities to local people. Yibinghe, Sierra Guo, ICN San Francisco.
Walking has been proven to have many health benefits according to studies done over the course of the year. Walking more than an hour a day improves life expectancy significantly and does not have an effect on medical costs. Type 2 diabetes can be prevented because walking gives a good amount of exercise to help people at risk of the disease. Walking has also been linked to good mental health in seniors. Seniors with Alzheimer's who walk more than 5 miles per week were found to have slower memory loss. It has also been shown to improve mood and fight heart disease. The benefits to walking daily are numerous, and doctors agree that more people should add it to their daily routine. Yibinghe, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco. Newly divorced Katie Holmes made her Fashion Week debut today, showing off her new line with stylist Jean Yang. Forgoing a catwalk, models stood in the center of the room at New York's Lincoln Center. Viewers took note that the collection was very close to Holmes' personal style. Holmes was excited about the new line and happy to present it in a more low-key setting, which she says reflects the feelings behind her business. Since her public divorce with Tom Cruise, Holmes has been quietly getting settled in New York City, but now with her work in fashion, she is stepping out in a big way. Yibinghe, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco.
The Food and Drug Administration is warning consumers who typically use topical pain relievers to smooth ache and pains that these products can cause serious burns. According to a notice posted to FDA's website, the over-the-counter products are designed to provide short-term relief from minor muscle and joint aches and pains. However, regulators say they have received more than 40 reports of skin injuries ranging from first to third degree chemical burns caused by the products. In many cases, severe burning or blistering occurred within 24 hours of a single application. Some applications require hospitalizations as well. Yibinghe, Sierra Guo, ICN San Francisco.
San Francisco has been given $5 million in federal and foundation grants to help the homeless in the community. The money will be put toward housing for homeless families and counseling services. The money will be used over the next 5 years and should help up to 160 different families. The grants are coming from the Federal Administration for Children and Families, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the Annie E. Casey Foundation, Casey Family Programs, and the Edna McConnell Clark Foundation. As much as 10% of the city's 6,500 homeless people are in families, which is 20% lower than the national average. Yibinghe, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco.
Around 900,000 babies are born with birth defects in China every year. The Health Ministry said Wednesday. The ministry report for 2012 on prevention and treatment of defects in newborn babies said birth defects at 19.1% have become the second biggest cause of infant death in China. Birth defects include at least 8,000 kinds of disease, such as congenital heart disease, cleft palate, hydrocephalus, and neural tube deformities, and those are the most common among all the defects. Consumption of prohibited medicine, increased exposure to radioactivity, and drinking have contributed to the increase. Yibinghe, Sierra Guo, ICN San Francisco.
Prices at the pump are not only hurting drivers, but consumers as well due to the rising production costs for transporting goods. Gasoline prices increased 28 cents last month, which could put a strain on household budgets. The Labor Department says consumer prices rose by 0.6% last month, but clothing, furniture, and airline fares have gone down. The areas seeing the most increase in prices are rent, car prices, and healthcare costs. Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke says he believed inflation would remain close to the Fed's target, noting that the longer-term inflation expectations were quite stable. The poor labor market means that any increase in prices for consumers should only be temporary. Ibing He, John Berge, ICN, San Francisco.